Hey everybody, it's your man Type coming to you with another true spook story. Now before I begin, let me ask that you hit that like button. Go and subscribe to the channel and share me with your friends and family if you're thinking not robbery. Now let's begin. Well, this story gonna take place in the Lake Mann Garden Apartments off Ivy Lane Road. Now if you know, this is right up the road from the Poking Bean. I moved to the Poking Bean when I was about 6 years old in 84, 85, around by that time. And then we stayed there for a little bit. Then we moved with grandmama up there in Lake Mann Garden. And then my mama ended up getting her own place up that way. So now, I did my teen years, the best of my teen years, I tell you, inside Lake Mann Garden Apartment. So now, while hanging out in Lake Mann Garden Apartments, across the street, that was where the dope boys hung out. Big B, they call it Big B and all that shit there. Then you had Jurassic Park, all back there. That's the field where the jugs used to get high and smoke at and shit. It was fun, we used to go there and go punch a jug in the face and shit. If they owed one of our homeboys some money, then we'll pay a jug to whoop another jug ass. If you don't know, jugs are people who used to smoke crack and shit. It was just a good time. One time I remember the jug caught Kiki and whooped his ass. And you got beat up by a jug. Man, find out that jug was a Golden Glove box on your ass. So, it's just crazy. Just good times. I'm just reminiscing. Let's get into this story, y'all. So, back in the day, I had to be about 14, 15 years old living inside Lake Mann Garden Apartment. Now, the whole time I was living there, I never knew it was a lake behind the apartments. I mean, it's crazy how you could live somewhere in a complex and never really notice the bitch other than what your mind focus on. So it was a lake, known as Lake Mann Apartment. So the dope boys, when the police rushed, the dope boys used to jump the canal and they would run through the apartment complex and they'll go running towards the lake and they'll just disappear. Now listen to me good, people. They would disappear. They'll run to the lake. Only thing you do hear about 2 or 3 splashes, and the police couldn't find them. They would always sit out there and bring out the helicopters. They would do everything. So everybody knew that if you running from the police, this is what a dope boy said. If you running from the police, go jump inside Lake Mann. The police won't find you. Some mystical, magical going on with Lake Mann Lake, right behind Lake Mann Gardens Apartments. So as I grew up, I'm starting to sell a little dope, right? I'm starting to sell a little dope. I'm starting to get into the dope gang. Police doing their little raid out there at Big B. Bam, I take off across the street. I'm hawking it. Wop, wop, wop. So, when I hawking, I cut through the apartments. I'm running to the back of the apartment complex. But for some reason, I couldn't see the lake. I knew a lake was back there, in theory, but I never could see the lake. Only thing I seen was a black fence. So when the police chased me, I would just run back there and then I just duck off and I go hide in Jamil's house or one of the little chicks that I knew and shit. I just go hide in their house about an hour and then come back out when the police have a change of clothes stash in about 3, 4 apartments, and I was throwing them something on the side, a little cash here to help them with their rent. Real nigga shit. So I turned 17 and I'm really in the dope game and I'm really hustling people. I mean, I'm hustling because now I got a kid on the way. The boy gonna be born when I turn 19. It's I was going on 18, just start fucking. So the boy would be 19. I was 19 when my first son got here. So I'm sitting out there hustling, selling dope. And I said, Grandmama, is it a lake behind Lake Mann Garden? And she said, yeah, that big ass motherfucking lake. I say, Grandma, I can't see the lake. People, let me tell you, my grandma threw her spit cup she placed it on the table and she threw that tobacco down. She said, what you mean you can't see the fucking lake? I said, Grandma, when I walk back there, I just see a long black wall, man, like a wall back there. She said, ain't no fucking wall back there. I can stand on my porch and see the lake. I said, Grandma, you telling me you don't see this long black ass wall, fence wall, black ass wall? And my grandma walk with me. So we like walk to the back of the apartments, people. And as we walk into the back of the apartments, we passing by everybody, and everybody like, oh shit, Tyke done got in trouble, grandma, cause grandma always walk with authority. And she was walking back there, they're like, who done fuck with Tyke, or who done fuck with grandma? Tyke done fuck with somebody, and grandma going to, make amends, get justice. They just knew when me and her together, some shit going down, good or bad. So we walk to the back of the apartment, and I say, grandma, there go that wall. I say, if you don't see that wall right now, you're an old crazy lady, making joke. She say, bitch, cause I must be old and crazy, cause ain't no wall there. I say, come on, I'll touch it. I say, once I put your hand on it, you'll see it. So me and grandma walk to the back of the apartment. Grandma, I stop and I say, grandma, here go the wall. And I'm feeling the wall, people, just as real as me and you, just as real as this tablet I'm recording this shit on. I'm rubbing on the wall. I can feel the texture. I rub my fingernail through it, and I heard the scratching sound. And my grandma look at me, put my hand in the air, because she say she didn't see it. She say I was touching nothing. So my grandma looking at me, touch this wall, this imaginary wall in her head, but it was real as fuck to me. I'm touching it. I say, I gotta jump to put my hand over it. I say, but it's a wall right here. And she looked at me, and grandma started crying. She like, oh my God, baby. I say, what's wrong, grandma? She said, I ain't want to tell you this. I say, tell me what? She said, you know your uncle drowned in that lake. I say, what you mean my uncle drowned in that lake? He said, my first boy, he was into selling that dope too. And, I came back in, I did a magical spell on that lake, to rest his soul, and that he could never be trapped by the police or be put in hell or jail, or like his soul would leave the water, so he could never be bound to nothing. And I said, okay. I say, but grandma, that still ain't making no damn sense. Why I can see something that you can't? Because grandma walked through the motherfucker. Grandma walked through the wall, and I'm like, what the fuck? I say, I know you got power, grandma. I say, but now you phasing through solid objects. She like, boy, when I tell you ain't nothing here, ain't nothing here. So grandmama grabbed my arm, and she pushed me into the wall. And when she pushed me into the wall, I hit a barrier, people. I hit a barrier. And grandma was like, boy, you mean to tell me you can't get through this wall? And grandma pushed me at least 3 times, and I hit a barrier. Right there, something wouldn't let me go to this lake. So she finished telling me the story about how her son was running from the police, and he ran and jumped into that lake. And when he jumped into the lake, he dived underwater, and he thought he could breathe through one of them cattails. We call them cattails here in the South. It's just a hollow piece of grass straw that grow on the side of the thing with the fuzzy little brown tails to them. So we call them cattail. He thought he could breathe through that as he was submerged underwater, but he wasn't practiced for the shit. And next thing you know, he kind of drowned, and I think a snake bit him or some shit like that. Either way, he's drowned and suffocated. So grandma had to go back there and remove his soul from the lake. But ever since then, all the dope boys would instantly get away from the police. If you running from the police and you could touch that water and you make it through the lake, it's like the police forget you was even running. It zoned out. So the lake was fucking either cursed or haunted. So she told me how that was, and I say, so then why, as your grandson, why can't I access the lake, grandma? And she was like, I think if you go back there to that lake Tyke, she say, you gonna be for the same fate as him. Because I think that if you run from the police, you gonna end up dying too back here. So she say, don't you ever take your ass to this lake. Don't go swimming, don't go fishing, don't go doing shit to this lake. This lake is off limits to you and all my children. I say, yes, ma'am. And so as we walking back, I'm constantly looking at that motherfucking wall. And she was like, the wall there? She said, the wall ain't there. And I'm like, grandma, it's a wall. So now I'm growing up in the project, running around, fucking hoes, selling dope, having little cookouts, flag football, and all that shit. I'm seeing the wall, but nobody else can see this wall. So one day, me and the chick Cheryl, we back there chilling. So we on the little playground set, and she was like, let's go and let's jump the little fence She say, let's jump the little fence. Keep in mind, she say, let's jump the little fence and go put our foot in the water. I say, ain't no fence back there, because now I'm trying to be like grandma and everybody else. I say, ain't no wall back there, ain't no fence back there. She like, you don't see that little itty bitty fence right there? She say, we could virtually step over that bitch. I'm like, So now I want to reveal to her that I see a bigger motherfucking wall in reality, but you seeing a low line ass fence that we can jump over, step over, crawl over. And she like, yeah, it's right there. It's like on the whole border. She say, I don't know why they made it that small. And I like, yeah, I don't know why they made it that small too. So I say, I see it too. I say, I see it. I just was fucking with you. So she say, let's go. I say, you go ahead. I say, you go ahead, and I say, I'll just watch and make sure nothing get you. I say, I don't want to fuck with the water. I don't want to get it. I say, Florida got amoebas and shit crawl up in your ass. Man, tell me why as she walked to the lake, she stepped over the little imaginary fence line. Stepped over the bitch, hopped too. And she went and she splashed in the water with her feet and shit. I'm like, the fuck, man? And she like, you gonna come? And I say, no, I can't get in that water, man. I say, I don't know how to swim. I'm just saying anything. She like, nigga, you crazy. So she jumped back over there. We just finished running our little mile, talking on the swing. I'm trying to chat up on the shot. You know how I go. So me and her never brought up that again. Now she seen a little gate. I seen about a wall about 6 feet tall. So life passed on a couple months and shit. We all out for the summer. And we all running around that bitch, flag football, hanging, chilling, grilling. All that shit going on, right? So I'm looking at the wall, and so we playing flag football, so somebody throw the ball, and the ball go all the way over the gate, and it land in the water. So they're like, Tyke, get the ball. And I'm afraid that they're going to think I'm retarded, crazy, or whatever. Tyke, get the ball. No, I say, no, I ain't getting shit. Nigga, we gonna swap you out. I say, swap me then, boy. Say, fuck this game anyway. So then they swapped me out for EJ and shit, but they just ran back there and got the ball out the lake. I mean, and everybody phasing through this motherfucking ball. And I'm like, this ain't fucking cool, man. So I went and asked my mama. I said, Mama, Grandma say one of her kids passed away in that lake back there. Say he was a dope boy. I say, now we got a lot of dope boys in our family, but how come I never heard about this one? She said, yeah, it was your Uncle Jerome. I say, I got an uncle named Jerome. Say, yeah, but he died a long time ago. I say, how he died? Say, yeah, he drowned back there in that lake running from the police. I say, but how come we don't know about this? Say, Grandma don't like to talk about it. That was her firstborn son. I say, oh, okay. And Mama said, I hope you ain't playing by that lake, because he'll come and take your soul and drag your ass under there. I say, but we family. He like, Mama said, he will drag your ass to that lake. Say, none of us go swimming in that lake. Everybody else to swim in it, but we don't swim in it. And then my mama told me about the time when she had went around there to, she had went over there to Lake Mann, but she got in the other way from Lake Mann Homes. And say that she went on the dock and she was over there chilling and everything, and say that she got in the lake, and when she got in the lake, her body just turned cold and it was hot. And she said she was in her bathing suit in the body, and her body just got cold and she just started shaking. And all of a sudden she looked down and she saw like dead man hands wrap around her ankles, but she jumped out the water real quick and they didn't grab her. And she said that was Jerome about to pull her in to claim somebody so somebody could be hanging out with him. And she say, so I never been to that lake. Auntie, no, like my auntie, none of us ever been to that lake. So I'm freaking out, because now this is a mystery in Orlando that I don't know about. So fast forward a little bit, I'm grown. I'm still in the apartment, still dealing with different hoes and chicks in the apartment and shit, still selling dope at the store and all that stuff. I'm doing my thing. So I say, okay, I'm in my early 20s. I got a jet. Let me go back here to this motherfucking lake and see what's really happening. Let me see what's really going on. So I walk back up there to the lake, and now I can see the wall. But the wall ain't dark, heavy black like it was. It's all like a smoke color gray. So I walk to the wall, smoke color gray and shit, and I put my hand on it. And so now my hand is phasing through it. So I say, okay. So I say, I'm not finna walk through the motherfucker, because I don't want to get trapped in between the wall. I'm thinking all kind of metaphysical shit, So I say, cool. So, I go get a ladder from the maintenance office, and I put the ladder, and I like climb over the ladder, and I jump over it. But when I jump over it, I like pick the ladder up, reach my hands over and pick the ladder up and pull it over with me so I wouldn't be trapped on the other side. So I go to the water, and I start splashing in the water. I pick up a little 7-Eleven cup and throw that bitch in the water. Then I picked up the cup again, and I scooped some of the water out, and I just poured it in my hand to see was I gonna get cold. I'm doing my little theory testing now. So I say, this ain't shit. So I walk out there to the water, and the lake had done receded a little bit. So now you got trees growing up, little marsh pitches, little marsh, it looking like a little marsh. So I go in there and I, take off my shoes, and I step on the little soft dirt and shit. I sank in a little bit up to my ankle. I say, damn, that went over quick. So then I walk down a little bit, rinse my feet off in the water, stepping on tree branches with no shoes on. I was hoping the moccasin didn't come get me because they were back there too. So all of a sudden, I just step my foot in the water and I just go to kicking. So I grab hold of one of these trees that's hanging like directly over the motherfucking bitch, a little bit off the bank. I know if I grab it, I can still like stretch my feet and land on solid ground if I just swing a little bit. So I'm comfortable, I'm safe. So I grab onto the tree and I like do like a pull up, and I lower my feet in the water and I start kicking, splashing the water. I say, this ain't shit. So I say, this ain't shit. So, so I swing back and I get on the border. So when I swing back to try to get back on the land, I end up slipping off a branch. So I slipped and I caught myself with my hand. People, I wasn't no more than less than 1 feet off the damn dirt. It was still tree roots there, people. You can look in the thing and see. Tell me, as I lost my footing on the root tree that I tried to jump on, I fell in the water. I fell all the way up to my fucking neck. I fell all the way up to my neck. I mean, I dropped in there like the bottom one at the lake. And I'm like struggling to pull myself up. And I'm like kicking. And as I kick, I'm feeling like the side of a mountain with the roots out under the water. I'm feeling all that shit. And I'm feeling like shit prickling me, like a million fingers just like pulling me down. And I can feel them on my thighs and shit, grabbing my nuts and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I say the devil coming to get me. So I'm saying all that kind of shit, and I'm screaming, help, help. And I just couldn't pull myself up. I couldn't pull my weight up. And the water was like it was pulling me, tugging me, a million hands. And I'm, help, help. So luckily, Grady, he was over there, and he like, who the fuck? So they thought I was screaming like a little kid, they say. They make fun of me to this day. And they like, I thought a kid had got trapped in the lake. So when they got back there, they like, nigga, get up. You just in like 1 feet of water, bitch. You drowning yourself. So I'm like, bitch, you don't see this shit up to my neck? Listen to what I'm telling you, people. In their eyes, I was like laying on my back. The water didn't even cover my whole body, and I'm splashing in the water side to side. In my mind, the water pulling me down, and it's up to my neck, with my hands and my neck being on the tree branch that I tried to put my foot on. So then somebody said, help this nigga up. Maybe he done got high, maybe he tripping, maybe taking his own shit. So when they came and got me, it took 3 people to pull me up. 3 people grabbed me and they pulled me up. And I say, man, y'all just saved me from drowning. So they laughing at me. They say, bitch, a snake would have got you. You wasn't going to drown. Bitch, your head wasn't nowhere near your body. And you got yourself wet by splashing. And I say, man, I was drowning. So everybody laughed at me. They made fun with me a little bit and shit. Key. So I go to grandmama and I say, grandmama, I got to talk to you. I say, grandma, I went into the lake. Grandma slapped me so hard. She said, you fucking did what? I say, I went into the lake. I say, cause I could see the gate. I meant the barrier, and I could pass through it. And so I say, maybe I can go in there now. She like, that was a trap. That nigga, them spirits were trying to get you. You know you divine. And I say, well, grandma, I say, I was in there about to drown. And everybody was like, he wasn't about to drown. He was just laying on his back, splashing like he was on drugs. And grandma like, well, thank y'all for saving him. Get the hell out of here. So she shoot everybody away. And that's when she sat me down and she started talking to me about, like, that lake is a mystical portal. If you go in that lake, you don't come back out. You disappear. You fucking disappear. That lake is a portal to this day. Lake Mann. It is a portal. And it's a sea monster in there. Wait till I tell y'all that motherfucking story. So grandma was like, it's a portal. And that's when she told me the blessing she did over it, all the stuff she did over it to free her oldest boy. And she inadvertently created a portal, you know. So if anybody go back there running from the police, they dive in that motherfucker. The police forget them. Now, I done seen a couple people run to the lake, dive in there, and all the dope boys know it. But back in my generation, all the dope boys knew if you running from the police, you dive in that lake. But they got a real metal fence up. You dive in that lake, and the police forget about you. They can't find you. It's like you just disappear and be on the other side of. You just swim, and then you at a whole nother part of the bitch. I don't know what's going on. So she told me she did the portal, she did the spell, and so it's an open lake. Now, people, that was just my struggle with the lake. Now we finna get into the creepy part of this motherfucking story. So now, as I'm growing up, now I'm in my 30s and shit. Keep in mind, I'm in my mid to late 40s now. So this about 10, 12 years ago. Latest news. So this is when the police was still doing jump outs and shit. So you got Booty, you got Raid, you got Flea, you got all these motherfuckers out there selling dope at the corner, and they hard with it, right? So now, these three knuckleheads, they done robbed the bank. So when they rob the bank, they flow inside Lake Mann Garden apartment. They go to the back of the apartments, they jump out the car, and they grab their money sacks, and they got these monies in bags and shit. So as they running, money just flowing out the bag. So, you know, people in the neighborhood, we jumping out, getting the bitches. I don't know where they throwing it out, you know, so we could cut the police off. So as they throwing it out, we jumping down, getting the bitch. So police like, get out of the way, get back in your house, da-da-da. Yeah, like, fuck you, nigga, we in the hood, bitch. We did free money, 120s, yeah. So everybody, little kids running out there. Boy, the Chinese store made some money that week. But yeah. So as they throwing the money, they so both of them say, man, I'm finna bust a lake. They say, let's swim across that bitch. And one of them say, I can't swim. Say, nigga, then we gonna shoot your ass. I'm hearing them as they running. Nigga, we gonna shoot your motherfucking ass, bitch. You ain't gonna tell on us. They're like, bitch, I got a bag. The money gonna float me across. They're like, come on, nigga, we gotta get to the lake. They just kept saying, get to the lake, nigga, the police won't find you. Get to the lake, police won't find you. So they went back there, man. They end up running through the little door of the lake because they have installed the metal fence. So they end up running through the little squeaky door because we been broke the lock on the bitch long time ago. So when they get there, splash, they in the lake. We watching, everybody watching. The whole Lake Mann Garden watching these people. Splash, psh, splash, psh, splash, psh. So after you hit a splash, two of them instantly dive for the bottom of the lake. They instantly dive into the bottom, and I don't know what happened. Everybody say it's a whirlpool under there, and if you dive in the lake, that whirlpool suck you up and you drown or some shit, and it'll kick you out like 3 miles away. It was that type of, we had some crazy myth about it, but I knew it was a fact. It was Uncle Jerome, and he was yanking bitches down, keeping them safe from the police. Now, whether he brought some up, whether he brought let's kill some, I don't know. So now the one that said he couldn't swim, so he jump in there. And again, he wanted to sit up there and do what Uncle Jerome was trying to do. He wanted to sit up there and get one of them cattails and hide the heat signature under the motherfucking water and breathe through the cattail with the money on his back and shit. So he died in that bitch, and he did it. Police searching for him. Police searching for him. Police searching for it. This time, police got the boats now, because, you know, you got Marine light. Police got the boats. They got the lights. They saying, well, I guess the sinkhole got them. I mean, the whirlpool got them, and we'll find them. They'll turn up dead somewhere. That's how the police used to just write it off anybody back there, because they did find a couple bodies. But the bodies that they were finding was people who would get murdered in the hood, and they'll dump them in Lake Mann. Police come fish them out and shit with the fish hook, drag net shit. So he's sitting under there. Police ain't looking at him. Cattail, he doing it. He doing it. We all know what he doing. So he making it, people. He doing it. He making it. We rooting for the nigga. We rooting for the nigga. I want to say your boy got away with this, and I want to say that the bad guy won in this shit. Well, the fucked up part about it, the creepy part about this right here was, people, and here we go. This is how shit come back full circle. One of the cats who grew up in the hood with me, he had ended up joining Orange County Sheriff Department. I ain't gonna say his name, because we friends to the day. He ended up joining Orange County Sheriff Department. And so he knew the story about the lake and how people were hiding in the bitch, and it was a portal, and how if anybody touched the water, you know, the police forget about him. And he like countless people are missing, so he wanted to make his mark. So he wanted to solve this bank robbery, however that go. So after the search was over, they called off the search. And he was like, well, I'm gonna go back. So this motherfucker go back, take off his uniform, dive into the lake, looking for this man. Now this man been sucking that air through a straw for about 14 hours while the police helicopters look, while they had them little flat ass boats going over the man and shit. He hot. So this motherfucking police Negro go and dive in the water, and he was determined to find him. And all of a sudden, while he was in there looking for that dude, tell me why he found the body of an older gentleman. Here we go, people. This shit made news here. He found a body in the lake of an older man in his late 50s with a backpack on, no money, with a straw in his mouth, with a cattail in his hand, in his mouth. The man is unidentified to this day. So I'm like, shit, maybe that was you know, trading places with him. So I go to grandma, and by this time she done moved out of there. I said, Grandma, you know they found the body of about a 54-year-old man in the back of Lake Mann Garden. Said he was hiding under the water. Said it looked like he had been there for years, because the body was all bloated and shit. And she say, what? Yeah. I say, so did you ever find body? She say, no. I say, I think they got him. Do you know my grandma would not go down and identify the remains? This person was named as a John Doe to this fucking day. She died not even telling us to go down there and see who it was. They buried that man in an unmarked grave and everything. She refused to go identify this cat. And the police officer, and now keep in mind, this is 14 hours after the bank robbery and the boys dived in the lake. 14 hours. Now, why wasn't the fresh dude there? Now I bet y'all asking, what happened to the dude who jumped in there out of the three? Well, the other two, Travis and Emmett, they end up going to federal prison. These ain't real names. And I forget the other one. He ain't never been seen again. To this day, they think an alligator got him. But the alligator didn't get the nigga that's been rotting and dead for some years in the bitch. His body cleaned up, just bloated, but fresh intact. So that water is a fucking portal, people. And if you want me to be totally honest, I think Uncle Jerome switched places with that dude, because they tried the same thing. The energy was right, everything, but he couldn't come back to life. Just the body came. And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Y'all think about it. That was pretty tough for me to say. I'm finna let you go, people. All right, everybody, I'm tight. Telling you guys, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, but it's the truth, no doubt. Everybody take care, stay blessed, and try to work that water and don't let it work you. All right, everybody, stay safe.